Hello, beautiful souls. It's Fiona here, activation coach, energy worker, author, all the good stuff. I am here today to talk to you about how empaths get trapped. And what are they getting trapped by? They're getting trapped by the continuous cycle of feeling like they need to heal. They're at the mercy of the energies around them, and they constantly have to protect themselves. Um, yeah. So let's talk about this. First of all, if you're new, welcome. My name is Fiona. I've just given you a quick rundown. I have been teaching and working with women for over 20 years. I'm a psychic, evidential medium, tarot reader, but my focus is I'm a certified life coach. I have been working with neuroscience, all of that, energetics for over 20 plus years, working with women in corporate and then in my private practice as well, too. So, what am I talking about here? Well, let's go back to basics and just definitions here. What the heck is an empath? An empath, what we're calling now, is someone who has experienced either a single incident of trauma or over a period of time, some type of trauma, or where they felt like their nervous system has been in a state of fight or flight. And they've been in that state for so long, they are keenly or hyper aware of their surroundings and are willing to change themselves to maintain peace. That's kind of the nuts and bolts of what an empath is. Now, what they're also not, now this could be somebody lives in a really stressful environment, like their parents constantly want them to have straight A's, or they're in a high stress environment playing sports and competitive sports, and they don't necessarily feel aligned with that. Or it could be, well, some type of violence, domestic abuse, or something like that. Or it could be a toxic work environment or cases of bullying. There's the definition of that type of trauma or that high stress fight or flight environment is vast. Now, first of all, so almost anyone in this day and age could be an empath. Could be an empath. Also, we have something called mirror neurons. Biologically, we have mirror neurons, and it's like any muscle. If we're constantly using them, and women biologically have a higher number of these. It means we can mirror, take on, feel, sense the emotions of the people we're with. And science is proving more and more every day that we have these clairs, these unseen senses that we can't measure, like sight and sound. But instead, we have clairvoyance, clairaudience, are showing up more and more in metaphysics and physics. And we can't deny that we have these hyper senses, these clair senses, these soft senses. So that's what an empath is by definition. And the trap empaths tend to get into is as they become more and more aware that they are aware, and it drains them, and they can't they it stresses out and they run the risk of autoimmune conditions. They can't handle certain work environments. They can't go out to like big social events. They can't gauge their energy because they are empaths. They're hyper aware, and they choose to change themselves to maintain the peace. And before you get on me, I'm an empath too. Okay, I'm empathetic. I'm textbook empath as well. I've been through the fire myself. But the trap is this dependency on constantly needing to seek out new types of healing, constantly that your energy is not clear, that you can't find a state of being safe, that you need to do a million things of like dancing around and take this herb, do that oil, do this prayer. I once was handed almost a 3-page prayer to do before every single event I went to because it was channeled, and because it was channeled, it must definitely protect me. And I went through it, and there were elements of it that were definitely empowering. But honestly, me going standing outside and doing some breath work for 5 minutes under the trees with my feet on the earth worked 100 times better than me reciting a prayer, a 3-page prayer every time, because that was the only way I was going to feel safe. and protected. Okay, so there's this trap, and I see empaths all the time. I got pulled into it, and I even started to be a part of the problem myself. When I first started teaching energy work and energetics, back probably 2018, 2019, when I started teaching courses on this, I would talk about like more or less like this is your ritual. This is what you need to do. Oh, you must do that. Oh, yes, you have to constantly keep clearing and no, 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 no. Yeah, it was part of the problem. Here's the thing. The key is working with your nervous system and finding out what works well with your nervous system and bringing it out of a state of fight or flight and into a sense of safety, a relaxed system. And you can do that with EFT tapping, emotional freedom technique. You can do that with breath work. You can do that with guided meditations. You can also do it with vigorous exercise. You can do it with cleaning the dishes, anything that puts your body into a state of calm. And when you do that, you clear your energy, you reset your energy. It really is as simple as that. Now, for those that spend more time in other people's energies, like massage therapists, or you're out all day, busy, busy, busy doing stuff, or you got a really hectic day, you may want to have a couple of extra techniques to help you, like knowing certain types of breath work, like square breathing, and then there's 6-3 breathing, and there's all kinds of different types of breath work. There's Tai Chi, Qigong, gentle movements, but you might be like, you know what, Fiona, I don't respond to that. I do better in a CrossFit class, and God bless you if you do. I've tried CrossFit. I've tried it, not once, not twice, several times, and I know it's not my jam. However, I tried it several times just to make sure. But I do love a good weighted workout at the gym, like really pushing the body. And that clears and resets my energy. It really is a personal thing. And finding your routine, finding your method, your approach to your energy is what your journey should be. Not trying to solve or end the fact or feel the burden of being an empath. You're an empath because A, you have mirror neurons and you may have been through some stuff. And I say that tongue in cheek because I've been through stuff. And part of working with being an empath is not feeling that what I want to really hammer home is that you don't need to fix yourself. You don't need to remove yourself of being an empath, heal yourself of being an empath. It's just your current state of your nervous system. That's just who you are now. But it's manageable, and you don't need an esoteric journey of a million different layers and clearings to help you live a life of normalcy. The key is resetting the nervous system, working with the nervous system. More and more science is coming out to support this. Our body is where we store our emotions and energy. Emotions are energy. We are energetic beings. At conception, there literally is a spark. We are energy. So, the trap that I want empaths to avoid is feeling this dependency on teachers, feeling this dependency that they must have a method, or constantly feeling like they have to seek out something to fix them. The goal is to work with your nervous system. Find ways to help with your nervous system. You may try yoga and discover that is not your jam. And you may try jump roping, skip roping, jump roping, and it's, yeah, that's your thing. It might be pickleball, but that is the trap, is feeling like you must do what everybody else is doing. What works for you is what works for you. The key is your nervous system. That's all it is. That's all. Like that's the nugget. That's what an empath is. I told you what an empath is, and you work from there. Next, the little thing I want to add on here. is once you start working with your nervous system and you realize you have a heightened intuition as well, you just have strong gut instinct, you have strong pattern awareness, you may even start channeling, like as someone who is an evidential medium and can read people's energies and pull things out of people's fields. It happens. And if you start moving to that level and it's beyond just working with the energy of being an empath. When you start working at that level, I see start exploring energetics at that point, not to fix you, but to help refine you, strictly for refining, like doing Akashic work or Akashic healing, not to fix you, but to refine. I can't stress that enough. So, work on the nervous system from a biological, physics, chemistry, energetic standpoint. It's your nervous system. Empath, dear empath, work on that. You don't need to have tons of salt scrubs and breath work and prayers and paper grids and sigils and bracelets and black tourmaline and all this stuff to fix you. You don't need to have these 3-page prayers. Find a technique that works for your nervous system, and it may take time for you to find it. And when you do, hallelujah. And then keep playing and exploring. Like for me, I have several techniques. I love walking in a labyrinth. I love doing that. That's a treat. I do that once in a blue moon. I wash the dishes. Every time I wash the dishes, I put on some calming music and I just breathe and I clean and I forget about my day. And after I'm done the dishes, it's like, okay, I'm ready for the day now. And I do that morning and at night. It's simple. Simple. Keep it simple. That's all an empath needs. Then if there's additional stuff beyond working with your day-to-day energy, you might recognize that you need to work on patterning, conditioning from either childhood. That's why I also provide the Heal Your Good Girl conditioning, because once we start working with the nervous system, then we realize the habits of an empath, right? The habits of an empath is, well, to keep the peace or to keep everyone healthy, I need to sacrifice myself. I must give of myself. No. Once you start working on your nervous system and realizing you are this beautiful being that is empathetic, um, then you start learning about boundaries and working with them and working with other people. And that's awareness and conditioning. That comes afterwards. Again, basic neuroscience as well, too, learning about people pleasing and boundaries. And your needs matter just as much as everybody else's needs matter. And being able to stand in your power as an empath because you've worked with your nervous system and then addressing these patterns, which again is conditioning neuroscience, you're able to function. You're able to do, you're able to be, you'll be more aligned to go after your dreams and your goals. You won't feel pressure in the workplace. You'll speak your mind and speak your truth without, bridges being burned. So that's what I wanted to cover today, which was the trap of an empath. Empaths being trapped in this endless cycle of trying to fix themselves and not realizing it's just your nervous system. And then once you start addressing the nervous system, address the conditioning and the patterning. And for each person, it's different. Like I predominantly work with women, so I work with good girl conditioning. All those habits that we picked up as a child that help a woman, a girl, helped us fit in and be successful, does not work for us when we're adults. A woman doesn't work on the same premise of keeping everybody happy in the play group, in the circle. We need to stand in our power and speak our truth. Like, I have too much on my plate. I cannot take on your things. And so it's speaking that truth. So I work with women for that. And there's different patterning for men as well, too. And different experiences as well, too. So I work with healing your good girl conditioning, which is the next step after addressing your nervous system. But I just want to make it clear to an empath, beautiful empath, slow down, start working on your nervous system. Don't get pulled into the trap that it's all these other things and layers and a million different things. You are not a victim. You're not at the mercy of energies. it's a reset of your nervous system and finding a way that works for you. For some people, it's Tai Chi or vagus nerve exercises or regular massages or breath work or going for a walk with your dog or playing with your cats. It's unique and it's not rocket science. There are so many tools out there, free or paid. Um, Go play, you'll find it. And then the next stage is patterning, addressing patterning. So you're not stuck in this cycle of constantly feeling a victim or lost or at the mercy of it. You'll have a strong nervous system, and then you address the patterning, and then whoosh, you're off to doing whatever you need to be doing. Um, and I know I've made that sound simple. For some, they may need to see a therapist and like cognitive behavior therapy. Um, I messed this one up. EMDR. I may have that wrong. Oh, or working with specialists. Each person is unique. That's the big thing I want to stress, but it comes down to the nervous system and what works for that. So I wanted to share that to help some of you beautiful souls get off this hamster wheel or this rat race of constantly chasing the fix for being an empath when it really is just your nervous system, and returning to that and returning to you and then addressing the patterning. That's the key. It really is those Lego blocks, put them together. And the key is finding what works for each person. And that's what I do in sessions. That's what I do in my classes, my courses. I help you explore. I give you a lot of variety so that you can build your toolbox and go after it. So if you found this helpful or just gave you a different way to look at things, please like, subscribe, keep following me. I do have the $27 Heal Your Good Girl conditioning that is available. It's an audio program you can listen to with many exercises. And I do offer courses where you can come see me in a group and we have fun. So go check it out. It's all in there. And I hope you have a beautiful day. Take care.